Newmarket Square, it's called Newmarket Square because it's only 200 years old. That's why it's called Newmarket Square. That used to be food market, and basically that was a place where many Orthodox Jews were coming to get kosher food. This round brick building in the middle of the square that used to be a ritual slaughter house to get kosher meat. But not every Jew is religious, not every Jew is following kosher rules. Like I said, I have a friend who was studying with me for a year on Archaeology Institute, and simply after excavations, you have to, every single year, after 1 year, you have to go for a month for an excavation to learn how to become a proper archaeologist. So after this 1 year, she joined excavations with me, and simply after excavations, we had a very big party, some barbecue, some alcohol, because we finished our difficult work. So, there was a barbecue, and she started to eat bacon. We're really afraid that she overdosed alcohol because we knew that she's Jewish and bacon is made of pork, so definitely it's not kosher. So we are shaking her, come on, wake up, this is pork, you cannot eat it. And she was keep eating this bacon, and she said, no, I'm Jewish, but bacon is bacon, and what? I'm not following kosher tradition, right? So I can eat everything what I want. And there are many people like this. So we do not have, ritual slaughtering house to get kosher meat right in the city center, right? I would like to try kosher food. There are a set of kosher restaurants around Krakow Kazimierz. However, remember that kosher food, kosher meat might be very dry and also a little bit salty because they cannot consume any kind of blood. That's why in the ritual slaughter house, they need to have a special butcher called shohet to pump out all the blood, right? And also they are salting meat to take all of the moisture. That's why actually Jewish kosher meat might be pretty dry and a little bit salty. However, guys, remember, Israeli style or Jewish style food is not equal to kosher. It's not the same. So of course there are lots of restaurants with Jewish food around Krakow Kazimierz. However, if you're going to go to any Israeli-style restaurant and if you're going to ask them, oh, do you have a kosher food over here? Probably they will say, yes, of course, in our restaurant, everything is kosher, right? Of course, remember that it might be not true, right? So you like to check knowledge of those waiters and waitresses. You can ask, hey, so if this is kosher restaurant, can you give it to me? This lovely chicken breast and coffee with a milk. If they're going to bring it to you, coffee with milk and meat at the same time, it's not kosher at all. Because according to kosher tradition, you cannot mix dairy and meat. So remember, guys, cheeseburgers are not kosher. Right? However, guys, instead of kosher meat, in this, brick building, there are lots of green windows, as you may see, and there is written everywhere, zapiekanka, zapiekanka. Guys, zapiekanka, this is kind of Polish pizza. Look, in communist times, we were closed. It was very difficult to get a passport for ordinary people and go to the Western Europe. People couldn't travel, people couldn't go to Italy, but Italians invented something really tasty. They invented pizza. We had no idea how to make a pizza in communist era, so we invented our own pizza. So zapiekanka. Zapiekanka is a long baguette. It's cut in half, and this long baguette cut in half is baked with cheese, mushrooms. It's very large, it's very cheap. It's the best when you're drunk. So this square where right now is one of the most popular nightlife centers. Many people are coming over here in the evening. There are lots of bars and so on. One of my favorite bar is right over there. Can you see there is yellowish brick building in the corner of the square? Can you see yellowish brick building? So in the ground floor of this yellowish brick building, there is a cafe called Singer. This name Singer is not after people who sing, who are singing any songs, but it was also about about the brand of sewing machines. So if you're going to go to Glasgow, in Scotland, nearby Glasgow there was a big factory of Singer sewing machines. And every grandma at home has a sewing machine like that. Little table, right, sewing machine, pedal underneath, move the needle, right? So instead of tables over there, they have this kind of sewing machines. That's why cafe is called Singer Cafe. But inside of the bar, inside of Singer Cafe, there is one big round table. And this round table is not for sitting next to it only, but it's also for dancing. Because according to Jewish tradition, you may dance on a table. Many Jews were celebrating, for example, wedding, they were dancing on a table. So you may dance on a table in the Singer Cafe. But remember, guys, I do not recommend to dance on a table when you're going to be completely shit-faced. It's dangerous, you may twist your knee, you may fall down, be careful, right? Now, of course, I really recommend to come back over here in the evening and enjoy your life, right? Guys, we are going to have a short break right now, so you like to grab a coffee to go, you like to grab something to drink. Here in these windows, you may ask for a bottle of water. Also, Steven Spielberg to show one of the scenes of the ghetto liquidation. Nazi soldiers were throwing suitcases with clothes and Jewish valuables through those balconies. Inside this building, on the first floor, was hidden a young girl. She was hidden by her mother under the bed. Then OD police officers approached. You know, OD police, the police of the ghetto, those were also Jewish people. However, they were selected by Gestapo from the lower caste or from former criminals. And simply, very often, they were very cruel against other Jews because they wanted to show how proper police officers are in front of Nazis. So when there was a ghetto liquidation, unfortunately, very often those police officers were very cruel against other Jews. They had an important task. In front of Nazis, they had to find people who are hidden within the ghetto. If there are still some people who didn't want to come on the meeting place, simply they needed to be found, right? So this young police officer, when he found this girl inside of this building under the bed, he's supposed to whistle to bring Nazi soldiers to kill this girl. But he realized this girl was his friend, and he doesn't want to let her die just like that. So he decided to help this girl. He said, this is an unsafe place, you cannot stay over here, let's go with me. He took this girl. This girl was hidden under the staircase right over here. Then this boy, he went to the gate and he said to Nazi guards that he checked this building, it's clear, there is no one hidden inside, and this girl, at least she could survive at least for a few next days, right? So this is a very famous place. Many people watch film, they may recognize this place, many people take pictures over here. But remember guys, Schindler's List, this is a great film, but this is Hollywood, this is not documentary film, right? So basically we are not in the ghetto, we are in the Jewish quarter, and ghetto was never built within Jewish quarter. It was built in a different district of Krakow. However, when Steven Spielberg came to Krakow, he realized the former ghetto doesn't look like a ghetto anymore, right? So in the early 90s, on the main square of the ghetto, where people were gathered on the ghetto liquidation, simply there is an office building made of steel and glass. How this building would fit storyline of the 40s. So simply many buildings were rebuilt with modern styles in the former ghetto. That's why this place, like I said, which looked terribly because it was slum for many years, could fit storyline about the ghetto in a better way. That's why many people walking around Kazimierz, they may feel confused because they remember some scenes from the film, they may recognize those places and they think we are in the ghetto. But no, we are not in the ghetto, we are in the Jewish quarter, and ghetto was located in a different district of Krakow. So, we are not in the Jewish quarter anymore. We're in the Christian district, right? This is Catholic church. That's the main parish church for Catholics who used to live over here. It's one of the largest and one of the oldest churches in Krakow. This is Gothic church of Corpus Christi. It was built between 14th and 16th century, so for almost 200 years. However, definitely I recommend to come back and check this out. So guys, we are in the Christian part of Kazimierz, which is older than Jewish quarter. Like I said, first were brought over here Christians. Jews were brought in 15th century, right? So basically, our King Casimir the Great decided to build a new town called after his name, Kazimierz, in the year 1335. But many people ask why Kazimierz was built here, just across the river, why it wasn't built a couple of 100 kilometers from here, but just next to old capital of Poland. The reason is simple. Our King Casimir the Great, he was in conflict with Krakow merchants. Krakow citizens organized an uprising against his father. And Casimir the Great, he was afraid when he is going to be crowned as a king of Poland, he may have the same problem like his father with Krakow citizens. So look, Casimir the Great, he was crowned 1333, 1335 was already a new town just next to Krakow. In a case of any riots, in a case of any uprising in the old town, he would have support from here. This is one of the reasons. Second reason, the old town is pretty tiny. It's not very big. It was surrounded by walls. It was very difficult to expand territory of the old town. That's why for new settlers, Casimir the Great, he simply decided to build a new town, to build like a metropolis, right? However, Casimir was independent town till 19th century. It was different town with different city rights, with different inhabitants, with different privileges. So this yellowish building over there with a tower, that used to be a town hall building for Kazimierz, that was a main city office. However, in 19th century, when Kazimierz became part of Krakow, there was a discussion what to do with this town hall building. There was no need to have a town hall just for a district. There was an idea to demolish it, but luckily building survived. It was given to the Jewish community. It was run by the Jewish people to make inside a school called yeshiva. That was a Jewish school in the beginning of the 19th century. In the middle part of the 19th century, it became a school for everyone, not only for Jews. And in the beginning of the 20th century, purpose of this building was changed again. And nowadays, this is a museum, ethnology and ethnography museum. So you'd like to see countryside of Krakow, you don't have to go to countryside. You may go to this museum. It's very interesting, in my opinion. But guys, this area we're right now, this is main market square of Kazimierz. Kazimierz the Great, he wanted to punish those merchants who organized Arab fighting with a competition. So look, the largest medieval market square in Europe is main market square in the old town, 200 meters by 200 meters. But Kazimierz the Great wanted to be competition for merchants in Krakow. That's why he built also a very big square in Kazimierz. The square where we are right now was 4 times larger than today. In 1335 was 195 meters by 195 meters. It was almost equal to the main square in Krakow. But Kazimierz couldn't handle this competition with the old capital of Poland. That's why already since the beginning there were some ideas to build buildings on the sides of the square, and the square was getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and today it's only 25% of original size. But guys, this is an old archaeological site. This area we're right now is over 600 years old. So you like to build an underground parking, you like to build a new building, you like to change pipes underground, you must employ me. You need to have an archaeologist. 2014 I graduated and I used to work over here as an archaeologist supervisor. I was leading excavations here. I was proud of myself. My mom was proud of me as well. So I will show you some pictures from those excavations.
Did you find anything in
Yeah, we found something really interesting. You may come closer, you may give a look on the picture. This is me in 2014.
Oh.
You can find young archaeologists searching for the past. You can find passion in my eyes. Yes. My wife is laughing at me, but I look the same like in 2014. She will reconsider our marriage because I was looking so attractive. However, guys, we found just around the corner, we found an old medieval toilet. Old medieval toilets are great because people in medieval times were more or less similar like us today. If something was dropped to the shit, nobody wanted to pick it up. That's why the best finds we have usually from toilets. And look, usually on archaeological excavations, you may find like a piece of pottery, like old vessels, but broken on small pieces. However, in the old toilet over here, we found full pots. Look, we found something like that.
Oh yeah.
You are going to find something like this, big pots. Which are untouched by time very much. You can take samples from inside of this pot. You can send those samples to laboratory and they're going to tell you what kind of food those people had over here 600 years ago. Do you know what they had?
No.
Mostly beans and cabbage. So try to imagine smell of those excavations. However, guys, archaeology is a nice hobby. Nobody wants to pay for archaeologists. When I used to work over here, I was, working here on excavations after 7 years of my studies. I was studying history and archaeology, so of course, I wanted to be well paid, right? But they were paying me minimum wage. So I asked my boss I demanded to raise my pay. He said, if you don't like this job, you can find happiness somewhere else. So that was the first time when I got some thoughts to find better job. However, there was something else which crossed the line and actually convinced me to find better job. When I was digging over here with my favorite shovel, I was shoveling to find some artifacts. I was using my big muscles to find some past, and unfortunately not everyone knows what does it mean archaeology. Many people know archaeology only from Indiana Jones. So when I was digging over here very hard, I was working around corner over there. One lady was walking on a pavement on a street. She looked on me in the hole. She looked on her boy. There was a little boy walking with her. She pointed at me with her finger and she said, look, if you don't want to learn, you'll finish like him. You'll be digging holes the rest of your life. I was so pissed, I hate this place.